I'm Arthur Wagenaar. I'm a composer, a keyboard player. Sometimes I'm a conductor. I'd like to invent my own instruments. I lead rehearsals. Yeah, those kind of stuff. Yeah, musical things, all kinds of. But yeah, I like composing and playing. I think I like best. Yeah, I love to create my own instruments, and you should not think like a new kind of wind instrument or uh, yeah, it depends. Let me give you an example. I've done a piece where which was about the impact of the smartphone. It was a piece for teenagers, so I wanted to yeah make them more conscious about what this device and all the big tech, how it's what it can do, and what's cool and what's maybe better to think a bit more. And then I thought, yeah, this is a nice idea, but how to get it into music? And then I thought, okay, I want to use their phones as a musical instrument. I wanted them to be able to really play along with the band on their phones, so that the subject of the story was also a musical instrument. So then I worked with Laurens van der Wee, and together we designed an app that made your phone into a musical instrument, but that also would be able to sneakily influence what you do, and it had a sort of a hidden agenda. So it could start recording suddenly, or give you messages, give you little texts. So it was a musical thing, but also a theatrical thing. And we designed this app, Close Call. The show was called Close Call, and the app is Close Call Live. I think it's still in the app stores actually. And so we thought of how to use the phone. Of course, you have the touching, but we also used moving it and tilting it. So now the phone, of course, there's many musical apps, but this is one new app we designed. And in the next piece, which is Sounds Like Juggling, that is all about how to make music by juggling. So it's a completely other thing. It's analog, mostly acoustic. Yeah, so that was a collaboration with Guido van Hout, the juggler, and Diana Verdonk, instrument designer. And yeah, together we came up with various instruments, big and small, to make sounds or music with juggling or object manipulation. Yeah, that is really fantastic to do. And when you have this project and you can really start with your own unique sounds. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, here I have this keyboard here. I also wrote my own synthesizers for this. So it's not really a whole new instrument, but it is a unique new sounds and new ways of playing them. So when I'm starting with a new composition, I usually think, okay, what's it about? What sounds do I need? And sometimes it's existing instruments and sometimes it's not. And then, I have to make them. Yeah, why do I create those? Because it's often really a pain, because it takes a lot of time and it's really hard to master them and to learn them. And actually you would need a year just only for the instrument, and then another year to sort of be able to play them, and you only have like 2 months for the entire thing. But yeah, I think it's really worth it because you got so many new opportunities, and yeah, the sounds also become more special. I think there's already so much music for violin or clarinet, piano. Yeah, I like to add something to that and create something fresh. Yeah, Sounds Like Juggling goes back a long time. I started with piano lessons when I was 12, and at the same time I learned juggling. So it always has been something together. And well, I went on going to the conservatory and never went to circus school, but I always have been juggling. And when I graduated at the Amsterdam Conservatory, I already made a piece with juggling with glow balls in the dark, and then a setup with a video camera that did video tracking, so I could translate those movements into sounds. And that was 12 years ago. And ever since, I actually wanted to go on with that. And it took just a long time before it happened. And then I met Guido van Hout, and he's sort of the other way. So he's a juggler that's also who's really into music. He studied musicology, plays the clarinet. So he's coming from there and I'm coming from here, and we meet in the middle, and we both have this combination. And from there on, and the idea was born to make it further. And we're now working on the second show, and so it's really a nice new genre we are trying to develop. New Moon Orchestra is also a very nice project. I used to live in Zaandam, and so I noticed there at one time at Koningsdag, that was how it started, that the musical worlds are really completely isolated from each other. There was one place where all kinds of Middle East music was performed on the streets, and there was in the Zaantheater, they had this big band jazz thing, and then just right around the corner was this dance stuff, and all these worlds had their own audience, and they just didn't meet. And then I thought, this is true of me also. It's really hard to get outside your usual bubble. And so I thought how to get people together. So I came up with the idea of getting a group together with people with roots from all over the world, and they could bring in their own music, like songs from their native culture. Sometimes it's classic songs that I never heard about, or it can be children's songs or own compositions. And I arrange them for the orchestra and conduct. And then by playing these songs, we get to know each other's culture, and we get to know each other. So it's a really nice way of getting together and getting in touch with each other. So I'm not really a composer there, but just doing arrangements. But I learned so much new music, and also that, like, we have a keyboard player from Syria, and he has this really particular way of doing ornaments and harmonies. And then there's a cello player from Norway and bass player from Brazil. And so everybody has these unique styles, and sometimes it's a big clash, and we're just finding out how to get this together. And it's really nice to see how that works. But New Moon Orchestra just started. We've done only 2 sessions so far, and then Corona came, and we had to postpone all the time. But the idea is we work every month for a day, and at the end show right away to audience what we've done and eat all together. So it's really a social thing, and it's a big pity that Corona sort of put an end to that. But I really hope maybe after the summer we can make that bigger. It's a collaboration with Fluxus in Zaandam, which is the Center for the Arts. They have for kids and also teenagers, grown-ups, actually everybody. They have lessons in music, but also other arts. And we work with Taalcafé De Sluis, which is a place where people who are new in the Netherlands can come and learn Dutch. So with them, we are looking for people. We have about 10 to 15 players now from all over the world, and not everybody is there all the time, and that's totally okay. And I really hope we can grow. I'm thinking like 30 to 40 people to really have this feel of a real orchestra. But right now it's actually impossible to get together with that many people when we are rehearsing with 10 in a really big space, it's full. So it's for now it's really fine. We have it's a bit more limited, but it's yeah, I feel it should grow bigger. Also, that's also a thing where I would love the orchestra to grow. I really like to have also the non-Western instruments there. And now we have oud and tablas, but also cello, piano, drums, various kinds of guitars, steels. Yeah, so it's a mixture of cultures and instruments, but we're just in the early stages and really finding out everything. Well, in Sounds Like Juggling, I think the invention I liked best was balloons. I had a lot of fun with balloons. The nicest thing was to put a recorder or a clarinet in a balloon, and then you had the air in the balloon blowing through the instrument. So it became sort of a bagpipe. But really crazy because you can throw it around and yeah, you can suddenly play recorder while the air is just going on. And I had also a balloon with rubber bands on the other end, so you could also sort of play guitar-like things and just sort of various things at the same time. And yeah, I had so much fun with that. It is so ridiculously loud. It's like a it's a crazy sound and it looks really silly. But yeah, I think I used it in Sounds Like Juggling for just one scene, and in the next show, next juggling concert, I think there's gonna be more balloons. I think there's a world to discover there. It sounds crazy, but I think it's really also when you put helium in there and change the weight, maybe microphones inside the balloon. Yeah, I spent a lot of time already, but I know there's more. I like that. It's a good one. I'm actually searching for a question rather than an answer. I really like to make people think, and when they listen to my music, I really like to make their minds or their brains go in sort of a free state and just roll and make their own associations. And yeah, what I hope to do is that they think, oh wow, I never really thought about that. There's more choices there than I thought. And I don't want to say this is the way to go or this is the answer, but I'd like to say, what are you doing and what is your choice? And is that a good choice for you at this moment? And often you don't realize that what you do is a choice and it could be different. Like, yeah, Sounds Like Juggling, for instance, is about patterns and being stuck in patterns and breaking free of patterns. And that's also one reason why we came up with juggling, because juggling is really all about patterns and it's really hard to change a pattern because things will drop. But I think it's a really nice metaphor for what we're doing in the world, because if we don't change the patterns we're in, the world will die. I don't want to say that on stage. I think people know it and they will close if I do it like that. But if we show really strict juggling, really tight rhythms, and we're really stuck in that pattern, and then towards the end of the piece it becomes more free, and in the end it's a total anarchy. In that way I can make you feel, oh yeah, you could break out, you could change. And that way I'd like to give people the space to make their own conclusions or come up with their own meaning. So yeah, I'd like to, what I would love is when people come out of a concert or a theater show, they think, oh yeah, okay, that's also possible. Maybe I'd like to try that, or go left instead of right. Yeah. I also had a piece, Stadseinder, which was about the countryside versus the city, or farm life versus city life. And we played in farms, on location, in farms that were right in the middle of those worlds, like an old farm that's left between the new suburbs. And I had the piece, piano solo with live animations, but there was sort of a festival going on with poetry and food, and we walked through the neighborhood. So music was only part of the question, like where you want to be, what you want to do. And I asked people like, okay, what do you prefer, the smell of cow shit or gasoline? Or what you like better, beer or fresh milk? So all these, I really like to ask questions, and then the music is not the answer, but it's maybe another way of asking that question. So Groei by Suzy's Haarlok is gonna tour through the Netherlands in the fall of this year, 21. And then after that, there's gonna be a new juggling concert, hopefully. So we're in the middle of creating it and funding and all that. But let's say it's gonna work, and then it's gonna be there next year. And new Moon Orchestra is going on and hopefully getting bigger. Yeah, I really hope the music can help in some way. I think now is not the time to create purely theoretical concepts. I think there's too much going on in the world, and actually I've been wondering, is it actually okay to make art? Should we just go out on the street? And what I do is something in between. So the music tries to tell something or to ask something and to raise awareness. I really hope to make it a little bit of a difference. And the more people see the shows, the more that will actually happen. So I hope that will grow. But then it's a question, is it enough? Like, yeah, the next juggling concert is going to be about the relationship between people and our planet. And it's a disaster. I mean, we're terrible in taking care of ourselves. It's really like, what are you doing? And you can make art about that, and if it works, it will have an impact, and people will feel that we're doing something wrong as a species. But is that enough? I don't know. So I really hope I will stay motivated to approach it from that side. And if I'm not, I don't know, I think I would be a terrible in politics, or I mean, music is what I'm good at and what I love, so that's what I want to do. But I hope it's enough, and I don't want to be ashamed in, let's say, 30 years that all I've been doing is creating theater while the world was burning down. So that's a hard question, I think, where to be. Yeah, I don't have an answer, but I don't know. I just go on, I think, and maybe it's a bit of a easy choice. But then I really honestly don't know what else I could contribute. But you're good at what you've been doing I mean, I've been making music all my life, so that I'm better at making music than in other things. But is it the best thing to do for the world? I think it's the best thing for me. But is that a good reason to do it? So far, I think it is, but yeah.